We just had one of the tightest MVP races in Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge, so that had me thinking, what have some of the other MVP races recently looked like? So on Good Sports For You today, we are doing our first tier list video, and we will be ranking all of the MVP races since 2016 till now, so the last 10 MVP races, and we will be ranking them in S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier, and F tier. This is not based on how good the actual MVP was, but rather how good the race was, how close it was. If it was a really close race, it's going to be S tier. If it was one where the other player just blew them away, it is going to be F tier. So as you can see here, we have all the MVPs since 2016, starting with Mike Trout and Chris Bryant, all the way up to Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge. For 2025, I got the baseball reference pulled up here for the MVP voting so we can actually look at the numbers and dissect it. It's going to be based off of the actual numbers of who was objectively the best player and also just vibes of what I remember feeling, because 2016, 2017 era is really when I started really paying attention to baseball. So let's hop right into it with the first one. We're going to have Mike Trout here, 2016 season, and Chris Bryant in his 2016 season. Mike Trout had a fantastic year. The MVP votes were a little bit closer than some other people, and then Chris Bryant just absolutely ran away with it. Yes, Daniel Murphy had one first place vote, but Mike Trout with his 2016 MVP, it's going to be B tier, because there was some close voting, but if you look at the numbers, Mike Trout was really better than any other player that season. And then Chris Bryant is going to be an F tier for that 2016 season, because what I remember especially is with that Cubs team, Chris Bryant had the best season in the National League, bar none. I mean, you look at it, he led the National League in WAR. He had led the National League in runs. He had a fantastic slash line. Yes, Daniel Murphy had him beat in a couple of stats. And also, though, the biggest thing is Chris Bryant had that whole entire storyline with the Cubs and being that guy and the guy who eventually took them to the World Series. Next up is going to be 2017 with Jose Altuve and Giancarlo Stanton. When you look at the numbers, Jose Altuve was right there with Aaron Judge, and this was actually a lot further away of a race than I remember it being. I thought that it was really close. Aaron Judge obviously had a fantastic season. Jose Altuve did as well. And of course, it's been marred with that trash can controversy, obviously. But in my mind, it was a really close race. And when you look at the numbers, it was extremely close. You can easily make an argument that Judge should have won over Altuve, but it's not the closest that we're going to have. So I think it's putting it firmly in A tier, just because the votes weren't there. Speaking of the votes not being there, the votes were there in the National League, though, with Giancarlo Stanton and Joey Votto tying with first place votes with 10 total. And as you can see, the point differential right there is only separated by 2. Because that race was so close. And also, you look at it, so many guys receive first place votes right there. I mean, that is 6 guys in total receiving first place votes. It is not very often that you see it. Stanton had a fantastic season, leading the league in home runs, obviously, and RBIs. And then Joey Votto, though, leading the National League in OPS. This is going to be our first S tier. This is one of the best MVP races in recent memory. You could have made an argument for so many players that year, but Stanton taking it off. Next, we're going to have this 2018 season, and it's going to be Mookie Betts and Christian Yelich taking home the award. These ones, in my mind especially, weren't even close. Mookie Betts was easily the best player that year. Yes, Mike Trout had him in OPS, but when you look at a complete season, Mookie Betts was just way better, and that Red Sox team was just unstoppable. Yelich as well was the best player easily. I mean, you can make an argument for DeGrom, honestly. He had one of the best pitching seasons ever. But when you talk about an MVP, it's normally going to go to the batter. And Yelich had all the batters beat and everything. He was 2 home runs away from a triple crown and 1 RBI. And then slash line, he blew out everyone out of the water. So both of those are going to be firmly in F tier, just because neither of those races were particularly close at all. Next, we're going to move to 2019 with Mike Trout once again and Cody Bellinger. In the American League, it was a close race between Trout and Bregman. You can easily make an argument for Bregman. He had a much better WAR, and the OPS is very close. Trout edged him out in home runs. Bregman had the RBIs. Semien also putting up a fantastic season. I love Marcus Semien. This was an absolutely fantastic race, and I wonder how much of that was impacted because of that 2017 scandal with Bregman. But for that reason, it's going to be an A tier. It was a fantastic season by both players, and also, like I said, Marcus Semien was getting into the action as well. But just a fantastic season for everyone. And then next up, we're going to have that Cody Bellinger 2019 season. This one, I don't even need to look at the numbers, is going to be an S tier for me. And the reason for that is because of that Yelich-Bellinger back-to-back the entire season. We were at the All-Star break, and they were already saying that these two players were going to be the MVPs. And then Anthony Rendon getting in there as well, getting a first place vote. But Yelich, I mean, he had the slash line. He basically had everything, and then he got hurt at the tail end of the season, which really hurt his chances. But I remember in that All-Star game, they had that commercial that was the MVP commercial. It was Bellinger and Yelich, like Belly and Yelly, who's going to win it, which was just so much fun for that season. 2020, we get into those COVID-shortened seasons with Jose Abreu and Freddie Freeman in the American League and National League, respectively. These are very difficult to rank because you have that shortened season. Abreu, I mean, was obviously fantastic. 19 home runs in 60 games, 60 RBIs in 60 games. That would be on pace for a 162 RBI season. But Jose Ramirez, I mean, you can't count him out. DJ LeMahieu also had a fantastic season. But it's just so difficult to do with that. But for the American League, with Jose Abreu, it wasn't very particularly close. I'm going to put in C tier just because it's so hard to rank with that COVID-shortened season. But then over in the National League, I also, again, this is one I remember being closer. I thought that Juan Soto deserved some MVP love. Yes, he missed 13 games in a shortened season, but boy, his numbers were just unbelievable. But Freddie, once again, he just kind of blew everyone else out of the water. Yes, Mookie had him in WAR, but at such a short season, like, can WAR even contribute that much for that? Again, I think that there's going to be C tier as well, just because with 2020 and that shortened season, it's hard to grade. Next up, we're going to have 2021. That is going to be Shohei's first MVP, where he won unanimous. However, I don't think that this is an F tier selection at all, because Vlad had an absolutely fantastic season, putting up a 1 dot. And I mean, if it wasn't for Shohei, Vlad easily would have been the MVP. So because of that, it doesn't feel like an F tier for me, even though it was unanimous and it was obviously Shohei was going to win the MVP. But I'm going to put it in D tier just because you had someone else who was so incredible that season. And then in the National League, you're going to have Bryce Harper. Interesting selection here. I mean, 5.9 WAR, awesome season, but you had a lot of guys who finished higher. And I mean, you look at this lineup: Harper, Soto, Tatis, Brandon Crawford. This was that Brandon Crawford season where he got some love. Trey Turner, how fun would it have been if he won MVP playing for two different teams? And this, I mean, there were so many deserving candidates this season. And I think this was the season, was this the, no, never mind. I was thinking of that Josh Donaldson season where he just absolutely came out of nowhere. That had to be a little bit earlier on. But Harper, Soto, Tatis, Crawford, Trey Turner, just what a fantastic season for baseball as a whole. I'm going to put that one in B tier because in my mind, it seemed pretty sure that Harper was going to win it. But there was a lot of consideration for a lot of guys, but Harper was really the only one with that 1 OPS that you really want to look for. And 5.9 WAR is going to get the job done. He did miss 20 games, though. Felt like he was going to run away with it a little bit more, but when you look at the numbers and you look at the voting, that's not actually the case. Next up, we're going to have Aaron Judge in the American League and Paul Goldschmidt. This is for 2022. And Judge, this was Judge and Ohtani, and I mean, the voting does not reflect, I think, how close of a race it was. I mean, Judge had one of the best offensive seasons ever. He hit that 62 home runs, which people really, really wanted to see to set the American League record. And then Shohei had arguably his best pitching season ever. I mean, 2.33 ERA. I mean, you can't get any better than that. While hitting at an all-star level. Yordan Alvarez with a fantastic season is there as well. And of course, J-Ram is up there too. But I mean, Judge just had such a fantastic season, and this is another one where I don't think the voting is going to show how close of a race this was. So for that reason, I'm going to have to put it C tier just because Judge kind of did run away with it, but the numbers with Ohtani being so good that season, it felt a little bit closer, but the voting doesn't reflect that. In the National League, this was a great season too. I mean, you have Paul Goldschmidt, who took home the crown. Manny Machado, Nolan Arenado also receiving first place votes. How interesting it is to see two Cardinals right up there. Weren't able to get a lot of stuff done in the postseason, but that's besides the point. But I mean, Goldschmidt got the MVP to really solidify his Cooperstown case. He just had a fantastic season. Machado also had a great year. And Nolan Arenado, they were the clear 1, 2, 3s, but these two kind of felt like an afterthought. And for that reason, I'm going to put this one also in C tier, just because it felt like, honestly, the exact opposite of voting for the American League, where it felt like the voting should have been closer. I feel like the voting should have been more separated for this one. Goldschmidt just had such a fantastic year. Next up, we're going to have 2023, and this is going to be Shohei Ohtani in the American League once again. He had one of the best seasons ever, 1.OPS, 44 home runs, while also pitching 23 games, winning 10 with a 3.14 ERA. He wins unanimous for the second time. Corey Seager had an absolutely fantastic season along with Marcus Semien in the year that they win it all in the World Series, but this is going to be an F tier. I mean, it's not even particularly close. Shohei just had one of the best seasons ever, and there's not much you can do here. And then you have Acuna over in the National League, and this one is also going to be an F tier just because, I mean, he had the first 40-70 season ever. He had a 1.OPS. You can't do any better than that. Yes, Mookie Betts had a slightly higher WAR, but we're not just a WAR show here. We're talking about everything. And Acuna doing things that were historical, doing and hitting at an all-time great clip. You're not going to get any better than that, so it's an easy F tier for me. There didn't feel like there were any other candidates in 2023. Next up, we're going to have 2024, and this is going to be Aaron Judge and Aaron Judge and Ohtani have just obviously dominated the past few years. 10.8 WAR, or 10.8 WAR, I should say, with a 1.OPS so easily. I mean, you look at the other guys who received MVP votes, and I have to assume that they were the highest OPSs. His OPS is 200 points higher than anyone else that season. He finished with 10 WAR, only player in double digits, and he was easily in double digits. 58 home runs, 144 RBIs, 133 walks, batting at a 322 clip. I mean, to see a guy with that power hit for that kind of average. And once again, Bobby Witt Jr. with one of the best seasons that we've seen ever, quite frankly. But he never really stood a chance. So I'm going to slot that in that D tier, which similar to that Shohei Ohtani, his first MVP season. Vlad had an absolutely fantastic year, but because there was somebody who was just way better. So like D tier, there was another legitimate candidate, but the other guys were just too good. And then we have Shohei Ohtani with his third MVP. This is also going to be not even a D tier. This is an F tier for me. I mean, Shohei, yes, this was his first year only DHing and not pitching, and he casually puts up a 50-50 season, almost a 50-60. And he does this with a 1.OPS. Once again, the only player to do that. He is 100 points higher than the next player. And he's doing it batting at a 310 clip, leading the league in on-base percentage, leading the league in slugging. You can't get any better than that. This is an easy F tier. And the difference between that Judge and Ohtani season is not that Judge was worse by any means. It's just that the American League had a legitimate candidate and the National League simply did not. And so for that reason, that Shohei Ohtani season is going to be F tier, or that race, I should say, that 2024 race is going to be F tier, and Judge is going to be D tier. And then to wrap it up, we have this most recent season, and that is going to be the Aaron Judge Cal Raleigh season in the American League. I mean, how much better can you get? The one thing that I will say about Baseball Reference is it does not show the position, and that was the biggest argument for a lot of people, is Cal Raleigh caught every single day. That's something that cannot be measured on the stat sheet. But Judge was just too much. I mean, fantastic season, but come on, 60 home runs by a catcher, 125 RBIs by a catcher who's calling it every single day. But look at this difference in batting average, 331 to 247, and in OPS, Judge was 200 points higher. But this came down to the wire, and it really felt like it was anyone's game. Nobody really had any idea. I was even shocked when it ended up being Judge who won it. So for that reason, it is going to go in S tier. This was one of the best MVP races that we've ever seen. And then on the flip side of things in the National League, we have Shohei Ohtani winning unanimously once again, following up his last season with a season that was arguably even better. I mean, 7.7 WAR. He pitched to a 2.87 ERA, mind you, in a small sample size of 14 games and less than 50 innings. He also had a 1.0 OPS. He was the only guy that did that this season, and I think it's funny that Schwarber even finished second, quite frankly, because as a DH, as a limited DH, because if people want to be cute and say, oh, Kyle Schwarber's actually the better hitter, he has a worse batting average, worse on-base percentage, worse slugging, and worse OPS. He's worse in every single aspect. And Shohei also stole more bases. He has one less home run and then RBIs. That's because Shohei is leading off. He's leading off with 100 RBIs. That's absolutely silly. This is the easiest F tier, honestly, that we've seen the entire night. So this is the final ranking. It's going to be that 2017 season, the 2019 season, both in the National League, and then this most recent 2025 season is going to be the entire S tier of some of the best that we have ever seen. In the A tier is going to be that 2017 American League between Altuve and Judge. And then also in that A tier is going to be that 2019 season, Mike Trout versus Alex Bregman. Fantastic seasons there. In that B tier, we are going to have Mike Trout's first that I have in this ranking. That was, I believe, his second all-time MVP. That's the 2016 season. Also a very good race that I wasn't giving enough credit when I was paying attention to it live. And then also we got that Bryce Harper season in there. And then in the C tier, we're going to have Jose Abreu and Freddie Freeman. It's hard to rank COVID-shortened seasons, obviously, but that's where I got them pretty squarely. And then also we're going to have Aaron Judge's MVP in there and Paul Goldschmidt. That was in 2021. 2022, it was the 2022 season. That is going to, because Ohtani and Harper were 21. So 22 is going to be that Aaron Judge, Paul Goldschmidt year. And then in the D tier, where you had guys who were pretty clearly the runaway candidates, but there was somebody else who was right there to try to contest, and that is going to be Shohei Ohtani with his first MVP in 2021, where Vlad was kind of at the heels, but just wasn't enough. And it is going to be last season's 2024 Aaron Judge, or once again, one of the best seasons ever. But Bobby Witt had a fantastic season as well. In that F tier, we're going to have Chris Bryant. He ran away with it, and he had the storylines and everything. Chris Bryant, Mookie Betts, Yelich, both of those 2018. Again, similar. It just felt like they ran off with it. Mookie Betts had the storylines and the best season. Yelich just had the easy best season. And then this is going to be Shohei's second MVP and Acuna's MVP, both of those in 2023, where they just kind of made a fool of the rest of the league and there were no other legit candidates. And then we're going to have Shohei's two most recent MVPs, where once again, he was just easily the best player in the league and there was no legitimate other threats as compared to, like I said, this D tier where you had some guys being threats. But that's all I got for you guys right now. I hope you had a good time listening to me. I had a great time talking to you. If you got this far in the video, please like and comment and subscribe and do all those things. This is my first time doing a video like this, so I hope you enjoy it. Let me know in the comment section down below. And that's it for me, and I'm out. Peace.